So how do you quickly access all important stuff like files, websites, external drives on your Mac? Let me show you how. Welcome back to the channel. So today we have a fun one, all right? And this is more of a learning video, so stay with me for a second here. I want to try to show you how to get the most out of your Mac. So I have a little system here that I love using, and this is to try to access all of your important files. It could be like important websites, important external drives, important directories, folders, everything like that. And there's an easy way to do this where you set it up on your Mac inside of your dock, so you have easy access to all that information. Now, a lot of people out there might be power users, and they may know a lot of this, but I guarantee you probably won't know everything because I'm going to incorporate shortcuts in here as well and just show you some kind of cool tricks here as far as icons and everything like that to make it look really cool as well. So if you really want to be able to access all your important stuff on your Mac and do it kind of in a very unique way that's going to make you a little bit more of a power user for macOS, just sit back and relax and let's get into it. Okay, I'm going to have to share my screen here quite a bit now just to show you what I'm talking about. Now this will all make more sense by the end of the video, so just stay with me for a second here. So the very first step you want to do in my process here is you want to click on Finder, and this is going to bring you in, click on Documents. Make sure you're in the Documents folder. And so we want to create a catch-all folder where all of our important stuff is, like websites and external drives and everything. Now, we can name it anything we want, and we're going to name it something. I'll show you here in a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and right-click here, and I'm going to go down to New Folder right here. You can see it. Click on it, and we're going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it let me just dash stuff. I'm just going to put a 1 there just to have a 1. You can call it anything. You can call it my important stuff, important, anything you want, but there's the folder name right there, all right? So the documents I'm going to put over here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open up another Finder window up here. So we're going to go New Finder window, and I just want to make sure that we're in this folder. So I'm going to double click on that folder. So just on this side over here, on this side, this is my documents. On this side, I double clicked, we're inside the My Stuff folder. There's nothing in there right now. So the very first thing I want to do is, just hear me out for a second. I'm going to take this folder right here. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to drag it all the way down. Now down here, I'm holding it. Now there's a couple lines down here, but I want to drop it over here, way to the right. If you drop it in here, this is for apps, and there's 2 little lines here. You can't drop it there, but you can drop it right over here. I'm going to drop it right in there, and you can see that now there's a folder in here called My Stuff 1. See it right there? If I click on it, it's going to open up this folder right here. But right now it's just going to actually say there's nothing in there. That's what it's going to do. So don't worry about that. It's sitting right here. This is what we have, and now we have access to it down here. Now the very first step of all this stuff, and I want to go ahead and show you how to make a more, I guess, intriguing icon than this blue folder, just because we're going to be accessing this all the time, all right? So I want to make something cool there. So the first step here is let's just get that out of the way. All right, so if you look at my screen, this is a website called icons8.com. I'm not affiliated with them. Do your own research if you're going to get a virus or anything. But you can actually download a whole bunch of different icons for your Mac in here. And so I'm going to pick something that I'm going to always remember. It's going to be kind of a cool icon that I won't forget. So like this little Apple icon, it looks a lot better than this folder down here, and I'm going to be accessing it. So what I want to do really quickly is I'm just going to click on it. I'm going to click download. And then some of these are free, some of them aren't. It looks like a lot of these are free, but it says right here, 94 times 94. That's a good size there. I'm going to click download, and it's going to download it. Now what it did, it basically, if I go into my downloads over here, you're going to see right here that it created this, and it's a PNG file right there. You can see it right there, the top one, and that's a little file. So let me show you what we do next here to change this. You got to stay with me for a second. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on this that we just downloaded, this PNG file. It's going to open up preview. You can see preview right here. So it opened up preview. Now that we're in here, we're going to go up here to edit, and we're going to say select all right there. Now you're going to see it selects the whole thing. Then we're going to go here to edit and copy. So now we've copied it, all right? So the next step here, I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to back out of this, all right? Now, here's the My Stuff folder right here. Again, it's sitting over here, but this is the folder. So what I want to do is I want to click on this, right-click on it. Actually, I'm sorry, right-click on it, and then what I want to do is click Get Info right there. See that? So that's going to bring this open. This is the Get Info window for the My Stuff folder. Next step is I just click on this little thing right here, this little, right there, the icon, the folder that we want to get rid of. I'm going to click on it. You can see kind of highlighted it. Then I'm just going to go up to Edit and Paste, and we're going to paste that new one right in there. Watch what happens. So I pasted it, and look at it, dropped right in there, and now it's there. So now what happens is really cool is you'll see that the icon's right there, but down here as well, look at the icon change down here. So now we have this icon of a folder that we're going to be clicking on all the time that looks really cool. Again, you can get those all from this Icons 8 website. There's thousands in here, and some of them you have to buy and all that stuff. So you do your own research on that. That's just something I wanted to show you. All right, now that we got that little icon and folder down there, we want to put some stuff in it. And a couple cool things I want to show you. So let's just say you want to go ahead and you open up a bunch of websites every morning and you want to get easy access to them instead of opening Safari. So I can open up Safari like this. And let's just say I want to go to like we'll go to weather.com, right? Let's just start there. So we're going to go to weather.com. So I open this up let's say every morning, and I don't like doing that whole process. I just want a one-click way to get in there. All I got to do is watch this. I go up to the URL up here at the top in Safari, click right in the middle of it and hold it, and then drag it. If you look over here, I have it in my hand here. You can see that it's kind of moving the Weather channel down there. I'm going to go all the way down to my dock and then drop it right where my folder is. Drop it right in there. Now you're going to notice a couple things right off the bat. Let me minimize this. I dropped the URL right in there, and it's in there, but it changed the icon. That's one weird thing, right? If I click on it, you're going to see that it's got this kind of weird list too. Now I'll just hear me out for a second. A couple things you want to do. So the icon's not there anymore, but we want to right click on this. So right click on it, and we're going to go down, once you're in here, we want to click on kind. Well, actually, let me just do things first. First, we want to go to list. I'm sorry. Go to list. So change from automatic to list. All right. So if you go back down here, now if you click on it, it's going to be a list. See that? It's changed it from a list from that like little thing that used to come out. Now it's just a list. That's number one. All right. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and click on it, and then you want to go to options right here. And then we're going to change this to folder. See right here? So you want to change this to folder. Now watch what happens. It'll change this icon right back. See that? So now the icon's back. You just have to change it to folder so that that comes back. So now we have this. Now if you click on it, you're going to see now it's a list and the icon's back. Now this list though, this is a really long, I don't like how long this is, and we're going to make this look a lot cooler. So obviously this is the My Stuff folder. It's basically the same thing that's in here. See that? So whatever we put in here is going to show up over here. So let's just go ahead and change it over here. So in My Stuff folder, we're going to go ahead and click on this. We're going to right click and we're going to say rename. And I want to just call this weather.com. But to make this even cooler, what I want to do is I'm going to put my little cursor, click right on the left side of weather.com so it's flashing right there. My cursor's right there now. And I'm going to go ahead and hold down Control, Command, and Spacebar. Control, Command, Spacebar. It launches the emojis, all right? So I'm going to type in weather like this. And look what happens. It gives me some weather choices. I'm going to select one. I like this little sun here with the cloud. Now watch what happens. It puts it right there, and I'm going to click off that. So now we have a little icon there. So now what happens if we go down here to My Stuff and we click on it, you can see that it's got like a little weather icon right there. Look at it. And this stays over here, but we at least have this, and it's got weather.com. But now, if I just click on this, watch what happens. I click on this, it's going to launch weather.com, the website, every single time, even if Safari is not open. So let's just add another one in there really quickly just to kind of just show you what we did. So we're going to open up Safari. This time we're going to say, let's just go to ESPN. Let's say we're a sports fan. Again, all I do is I take this, I click on the middle of it, drag it all the way down, let it go inside my icon there, inside that little Apple icon. So what happens, we added it in there, but it's a long title again. So we're going to go into the folder over here. Let me just minimize this. And we're going to right click on it. We're going to click rename. We're going to say ESPN.com. And then again, I'm going to position my cursor right in before there, right there. And I'm going to hit on Control, Command, Spacebar. This time I'm going to look for a cool, well, if you type in sports, I already used it before, but if I type in sports, you're going to get all these little icons. We're going to click that football. It's going to add it there, and then we're going to click off of it. So now we got the football there. And look at this. So now down here, if I click on this, I have ESPN and weather. And if I click on it, ESPN, watch what happens. It just launches the website for me. So I can launch websites. It opens up Safari. It does all that for you really quickly. Step number 2, though, this is even cooler, and then we're going to get into some more important stuff. This might be a long video, but just stay with me. There's some cool stuff coming up. So we got those 2 things in there. What happens if you want to open up a whole bunch of news sites in the morning? We get in the morning, we want to open up 3 or 4 different news sites. We can use shortcuts. Now watch this. So we're going to go down here, and we're going to open up shortcuts. So if you go into, obviously, Launchpad, into this other box here, click on it. There's shortcuts right over here. This is an application that allows you to do really cool shortcuts. We're going to click on that. All right, without getting into too many details on how to use this, there's a little plus symbol here. See it right here? Click on the plus symbol. This allows you to create an application. Over here in the search bar, you want to click open, just like that, or type open it, I'm sorry. Then scroll all the way down and go to open URLs. See it right there? I'm going to double click on that. It's going to add this app over here. Then it's going to say open, and it's going to say URL. Right here, I'm going to type in, let's just say foxnews.com. All right. Then I'm going to click the little plus symbol, and it says URL again. I'm going to type in cnn.com, and I'm just going to click then enter. So now we created this app, this little app here. It's going to open up both these websites. And actually, if you click up here in this menu bar, open news is what I'm going to call it, just like that. I'm going to click off that. It's going to say OK. So here we go. So this has actually created a cool app, and I'm going to show you exactly what this does in a second. So long story short, what we did is now if we, once we get into this thing and we actually click on this icon, it's going to end up making it open up both websites. Obviously that's what it's going to do. But before we get into there, so here's the app. What we want to do is we're going to go up here to shortcuts. See up here this menu bar. Click on File, and then we're going to say Add to Dock. See it right there? Watch what happens. I'm going to add this to Dock. Now what happens down here is it added this little icon. See New Shortcut right there? And it's in your dock. Now, this is not where we want it. We want it over here in the Apple icon over here, My Stuff. But for now, let's just click on it and see what happens. Click on that, and look what happens. It opens up Fox News, and then it opens up CNN. See this? It's going to open up both of them right there. So it does exactly what we wanted it to do, and now it's here in the dock. But we don't want it in the dock. So I'm going to go ahead and close Shortcuts, but it still stays in the dock down here. So we don't want it down here, but what we need to do is we need to get it over into our My Stuff folder right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and right-click on this, and under Options, it's going to say right here, Show in Finder. See it right there? So I'm going to click Show in Finder. It's going to open up where that new shortcut was right there, and it's going to be where it was basically in Finder. So it's under Applications. So all I want to do here is I want to take this, and I'm going to drag it and drop it right into this folder. See that? My Stuff folder. Now, we removed it from here, but I dropped it over here. We can shut this down, and now look at this. Now, if we go over to the Apple icon, we click on it, there it is, New Shortcut. But we don't want it to say New Shortcut. We want it to say something different. So we can go in here. We can say Rename. We're going to say News. Really simple. And now if we go back down here, we have News. So anytime we click on this, it's going to launch both of those websites that are both news. See that? And we did that with the shortcut. Now we want to get rid of it from this menu bar. We want to keep it in here, but we want to get rid of it from here. You just right-click on it. Make sure right-click's enabled. Go up to Options, and then do Remove from Dock, and it's gone. But it'll stay right over here, basically. Now we have 3 things in there for websites, but let's keep moving. All right, the next thing we want to do is we want to gain access to all of our external hard drives this exact same way. So we want to have them in this like My Stuff folder as well. If you look at my screen, I have a couple external hard drives sitting over here. One's Western Digital Black, one's Intel. So a couple things here. All I have to do really is I can drag this into this folder over here, but just for safekeeping, if you hold down the Option and Command key as you're dragging a file, it creates an alias. It doesn't actually move it. So I like just to hold those things down. Sometimes it doesn't matter, but sometimes it does. So I'm going to hold those down. I'm going to do this Western Digital Black first. I'm going to take it and I'm just going to drop it in there like that. All right, inside my Stuff folder. Now you're going to look down here. I'm going to click on this, and the same thing. There it is right there. So now if I click on Western Digital Black, it just opened up this window. It's going to open up that external hard drive, just like that. It's going to show me the file that's in there. See that? So if I go ahead and do that again, you can see that it's there. But now I can't see the individual files from here. This is weird, right? This is the key to almost everything here, and I'll show you this in a second. What we have to do to get, actually, before I do that, let me add the other one. Let me just add the other one. So here's the Intel one right here. So I'm going to hold down, just as a kind of a safety catch, Option Command. I'm going to drag this in and let go of it. It creates like that little, it looks like a little arrow. That means it's going to be an alias. So here we have this one in here as well. Now, if I go back down here, you're going to see that it's in here, Intel right there. And if I click on it, it's going to open up my Intel drive. So my Intel drive's got all these different subdirectories, which I can't see from down here, right? If I click on this, you can see in here, I can't get to that way. So how do we do that? It's pretty simple. And I don't know why Apple does this, but all you have to do is, once you're done in My Stuff, you right-click on it, all right? You can get in here a couple different ways, but you can right-click on it. If you don't right-click on it, I think you can just click. Let me just do this. You can click on it and then just click Options. It's the same thing there. So what you want to do is you want to change this to Kind right there for some reason. All right, I change it to Kind. Then I'm going to click on it again, go to Options, and then go right back to Name. So it was on Name. I switch it to Kind. I'm switching it back to Name. I don't know why you have to do this, but I just did that. By doing that, watch what happens. Now it actually, see these little arrows here? It actually created those arrows. So now I can actually see all my inside directories. Look at this. So I can get into any file in there, just by using this. Now that wasn't there until I made that little change to Kind and then back to Name for some reason. Again, you have to click on the icon down here if I can get to it. Or you can do it a couple ways. You can right-click on it and you can go Kind and Name, but make sure you switch it to Kind then back to Name. That's what you do right there. And then all of a sudden those arrows show up and you can actually get into any file that you want on the hard drive. See that? So if I want to open up a file on my external drive, I can just go through this hierarchy and actually get into any file. The beauty of this thing is if you actually install external applications like I taught you a couple weeks ago that are greater than 1 gigabyte or whatever, if you want to put them on external drives, you can go ahead and just use this method, and then you can open up your apps that way instead of having to access them through the drive. It's all kind of in your dock down here, which is kind of cool. So I have all this stuff down here. Now, again, things are going to be like kind of alphabetically listed here. Obviously this isn't because of these little icons in front of it. The icons are making a difference here, but everything else will be like kind of, as far as the actual information will kind of be based on, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So you can actually up here name them differently if you want to, like with 1, 2, 3, 4, if you want to kind of make sure that they're in the right order. There's not really a good way to, reorder them other than that. All right, so a couple other things that you might want to know about this, and then we'll kind of wrap this up. So let's say, here's my documents, here's my stuff folder, which is tied to this icon down here, like we just said. But if you go into any of this stuff, like screenshots, for example, let's just say you have a file that you are always accessing, like it's a text file or it's something you're working on that you always want access to that file quickly. You can just drag it in here. Now, what you can do, though, is if you drag something in, let's say I take this file and I just drag it in here, and I'm not going to let go of it. If I just drag it in, it's going to copy it here, but it's going to remove it from over here. And that's not what you want. You just want to create an alias, all right? Because when you remove all this stuff, it's not going to remove your hard drives. It's not going to remove any of your files. And that's what you really want, because then you can actually just, get rid of this folder and nothing else will, it's not going to delete any files because they're all tied. It's basically, an alias is what they call it. So to make an alias, like I mentioned earlier, you hold down the Option and the Command key on a file like this. And then after you're holding those down, Option, Command, you click on it and then you start dragging it. And see there's a little arrow there? That means it's going to be an alias, and then I drop it in. So when I drop it in now, it's an alias, and you're going to see that there's a little arrow. It's really difficult to see. But this means that if I go like this and I click on Get Info, the file doesn't actually, it doesn't actually exist in my stuff. See this? It's going back to this original file under screenshots. So this is just an alias. And that's important because if we delete this folder later, then you don't lose everything. So if I go back down here now, you're going to see that file is now in here, and I click on it, it's going to open up that file. See that? So you can get to files that way really, really quickly, and you can do the same thing with directories. Don't copy the directory right into here if you want a whole directory in here. Let's say you have this is under screenshots, but let's say you have under documents a folder in here that you want to get access to, or we'll do your downloads in a second, but let's say it's any of these folders. You basically just take one of these folders, and instead of dragging it over, you actually hold down, again, the Option Command key like this, then you drag it over and let go of it. It's going to only create an alias, and you can see it's right here, downloaded pictures. So now if I go over here, click on this, and I go to downloaded pictures right there, you're going to see it's in here, right? Now if I click on it, it's going to open up, again, that directory for me. But again, if we look here, this is a perfect test again. It doesn't have this little caret here. It doesn't let me access the files. So what do we have to do? I explained that earlier. Once you add something, it doesn't have that little caret there. You have to go over here, and you have to, click on it, click on Options, and then change it to Kind. And then let's do it one more time. And then we're going to go Options, and then change it back to Name. Now watch what happens down here. Now it's got that little caret. See it? The caret's there. And now I can get to any of the files inside that directory. And the beauty of this thing is if I was to go in here and delete this or delete this whole directory, it's not going to remove those files, obviously, or remove this, basically, this downloaded pictures directory, because this is an alias again. That's an alias. So the aliases are it just points somewhere else. It's not actually a file. So you won't damage that stuff. And you can add and remove them as you want and not touch your real files. And then finally, the last thing you can do here, well, two more things really quickly. Downloads is something that you always access quite a bit, right? A lot of people go into their downloads and they don't like to go in here, click on Finder, then click on Downloads. They just want something easy like down here. So you can do the same thing. You can go in here and let's just say, well, to tell you the truth, I like to go in. So I'll click on Go up here and then go to Home. And inside of here, here's my download folder. So inside of here, I can just go ahead and same thing. I'll hold down the Option Command, click on Downloads, move it over here and drop it in there. Now I got my Downloads folder right there. See it? And the same thing down here. We get the idea, exactly the same. There's no little caret there. So now I got to do the same thing again. Go in here, do Option. You get the idea by now, right? We go to Kind, then we go back in here, Option, Name, back in here, and there we go. So where is it now? I can't even find it now. Downloads right here. So we got all my downloads in there as well. So you can see the little caret came in. So that's how you do all that stuff. And then finally, as a last thing, if you want to put some applications in there, you basically just go to your applications folder. Actually over here, I'm sorry, where your applications are, and you can actually just drag them in. So this time you don't really have to hold on Option Command because Mac knows not to move your applications out of the applications folder. That's why I'm saying I do it anyway, just as a safety catch. Some things you don't need to do, some things you do. But I'm going to move this chess over here, hold that down. You got the little arrow. So there it is. You're going to see that it stayed over here. And so it's just an alias. So if I go in here now and I click on this, I'll be able to get into chess instantly if I want. If I click on that, it's going to open up that app directly. And I can make, put the little icons in here, whatever I want to do to make it look better in here so that I have little icons in there. And then I can rearrange this again. Obviously here it says the C is first, the D is second, the D is second. So you can actually put like a 1 in front of the chess, a 2 in front of the downloads right over here, and it'll reorder these so that these are in the right order if you want to do that. So it's another way of getting all your information in there very quickly and then actually having quick access to everything. So I hope this helps. I know I was kind of all over the place. It's been a long video, but having something like this is kind of, I do it on all my Macs because then I can get into my external drives. I can launch websites instantly, and I don't have to think about opening up multiple programs at the same time. And I can get the things I'm working on, especially the downloads folder I put in there almost all the time. And if I'm working on any files, quite a bit, I'll move them into here temporarily. I can throw them into my stuff folder, and then I can remove the alias later. Again, don't drag the actual file in there, only alias it over, and that'll actually help you. So at the end of the day, you guys tell me in the comments, does this help you at all or does it not help you at all? I know I've gone through it fairly quickly, but I do hope it helps a lot of people here, and we will talk to you in the next one. Peace.